Hello friends, Jeanette here with Vibo Vintage Designs. Welcome to today's tutorial. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Very happy to have you here. On this channel, we learn alcohol, ink, and watercolor together. So for today's video, I am going to show you how to create very soft, translucent, or transparent petals for your flowers. Very, very easy technique. And I'm only using one color. And the colors that I've chosen to create these flowers are Pitch Black by Ranger, Rainforest Green by Pinata, and Wild Plum by Ranger. For the first flower, I'm using Pitch Black, and you can see that I put down a nice circle of the Pitch Black in the center, and this is one of my favorite colors to do this technique with because you get so many different colors out of Pitch Black. Alright, so now how do you create the transparent petals? You put down a good amount of alcohol and you start to blow your petals out immediately. Don't wait for the ink to soften too much. Just start blowing out your petals immediately. And to keep those little frilly edges from appearing on the edges of your petals, I'm going to show you what I do. You can see I'm putting the alcohol down, and now I'm going from side to side and blowing in the sides of the petal. You can see me do it again here. I'm going around both sides and making sure to push in any frilly edges that are coming out. It also gives your petals a really nice shape. And you can see that by putting down the alcohol and very quickly blowing out your petal, you get the majority of the color remains excuse me, the majority of the color remains in the center of the flower, and the petals towards the edge or the end are very, very light. And it's such a beautiful effect. So in this video, again, I'll be showing you three different colors using the same exact technique. And I find that this works best with darker colors. You can give it a try with the lighter colors, but they may not show up very well. And here I'm creating the center. You can see I put down my first layer of dots using a micro brush and snow cap. And I always create the lighter side of my center on the top left side. So I start all my dots on the top left, and as I need to reload my brush, that's when I start moving down the center of the center. That way the dots at the bottom are lighter and smaller, and the ones in the area where the light is coming from appear whiter and brighter. And it's really important to dry in between your layers so that you're not disturbing the dots underneath. So that's flower number one, and that turned out really well. Pitch Black is wonderful because, as I mentioned, you get a lot of different colors out of it. Now here I am using the Pinata Rainforest Green. And I love this green because it's so pigmented, so deep. So again, I'm putting down my alcohol and immediately blowing out my petal. And you can see I'm going around the edges to make sure I blow any of those little frilly edges back into the petal. And making sure that I dry each petal thoroughly. Now with this color, it's a little hard to see in the video now that I'm doing the voiceover, because it seems like the color is only in the center of the petals, but that's not the way it looks in person. So be sure to stick around until the end of the video so that you can see a picture of all three flowers completed. So now I'm blowing petals in between the first petals that I blew out. And if you're not quick, you'll get too much color. So you've got to put down the ink and immediately blow it out. So again, we're going to create another center, starting in the top left-hand side of the center and dotting. And you can see that because the color is dark, the white absorbs some of that green. And that's always a great foundation for your center because it gives it more depth. So I always add a couple of layers of the dots for the center, otherwise it just looks very flat. Now this next flower that I'm about to show you was my favorite. That turned out so pretty. But this one is my absolute favorite. This is Wild Plum by Ranger. So I'm just putting it down, and then of course I'll dry it. And immediately blow out my petal. This one almost looks real in person. And I'm hoping that you can see the detail and how this almost looks like there are folds in the petals. And the detail in the petals shows in the second layer. You'll see them soon. There are like white lines running through the petals that makes them look like folds and just gives it such a beautiful texture. This was my absolute favorite. Now because this is a lighter color, I did have a little bit of issue while I was creating the center because the center was the base of the center, the pink, was too light and the white wasn't really showing up the way I wanted it to. So I did my first layer. And of course the white started to absorb the pink, and I dried in between my layers. And you'll see in just a moment what I did to fix the problem. See, the white dots aren't really showing up very well. Usually I would fix that by blowing out some pitch black in the center. Instead, what I did was I put a little bit of the Wild Plum on my paper towel there on the right, and you can see that I'm dabbing the micro brush into it. And what I did with that was I created a little bit more shadow area or a darker area in the center. I just put it in the areas where I thought I needed it. And this worked really well. Once I was finished adding the pink, I went back over and added some more white dots, and they really showed up nicely. Well, I hope that you enjoyed this really simple technique to create these really delicate and translucent flowers. It's so pretty and just so easy. And if you do give this a try, I would love to see how you do. You can always share your version of the paintings and techniques learned on this channel on our Facebook group, Vivo Vintage Design Tutorials. We have a lovely group of members that are incredibly talented and supported, so I do hope to see you there. And if you enjoyed this video and would like to see more like it, please comment, like, and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Check out the description box for links to the products used, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!